And again, every time I'm writing out all of these changes, I'm using sine and cosine, because we'll do most of the graphs with sine and cosine. Now we're going to look at what does the c value do. From transformations, that's inside your function. It's going to be something horizontal. Remember, horizontal left and right. And just like in transformations, the x's are still liars. So if you see a minus pi over 6, you would already know this is a horizontal translation. Pi over 6 to the right. So I guess we technically answered part A already. Determine the phase shift. It's going to move everything pi over 6 to the right. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to graph this together on the same one, but I'm going to do y equals cos x in green, and I'm going to make it dotted. And then I'm going to draw my final graph shifted in blue. And this is going to be the strategy or the shortcut that we're going to use for shifts. We're going to draw our graph without a shift, label the shift on that same graph, and just move our points over. And it's going to make it a lot quicker than doing the points like we did in transformations. So what does, first of all, the dotted graph in green? Well, I'll label my max and my min. I'll pick somewhere along here to make 2 pi, which is the period of my regular graph, and divide it nicely into 4 equal sections. And label those 4 sections. It's a cos graph. Cos starts at a maximum, so I'll draw the green dot at a maximum, then center line, then minimum, then middle, then maximum. And I'll draw this dotted. Because that dotted graph is going to help us draw the blue graph. We know we want to go pi over 6 to the right. We've got this labeled. We need to find out where is pi over 6 on this. You can use your unit circle to help you, right? Where's pi over 6 on your unit circle? Right here, quadrant 1. Here's pi over 2. Can you see that your pi over 6 is a third of pi over 2? Just like 30 degrees is a third of 90 degrees. So when I go on here and I want to label pi over 6, I think of this pi over 2 being split up into thirds. And, well, that would be pi over 6 to the right. And I'm going to take each of these ticky marks and just make a mark a third of the way over, like that. If I label the pi over 6 once, you don't have to label those other ones. Your scale makes that obvious. Just kind of nice. This is what makes it a bit of a shortcut. I can take this maximum point now, and if I shift it over that amount, it goes there. This center line point shifted over would be there. This one shifted over would be there. Take each of your points from your green dotted line and shift them over. They don't need to be labeled because you labeled that first mark at pi over 6. And now we just need to draw our graph through each of those. Okay? Now, if this was an AP question next year, or if this was on the exam, I would lose a little bit of marks here for graphing too much. Okay? Usually on the exam, they won't have this part right here. I'm going to highlight it. Instead of that highlighted part, usually on the exam, they say graph for at least 1 period, which is really nice. Because as soon as you go from maximum to maximum, you've got 1 period, and then putting the arrowheads on to say that it continues, I actually think that's the best way to graph something like this. Because you say that it keeps going. technically, they said only graph between 0 and 2 pi. So according to that, I would have actually lost marks for drawing the arrowhead here and continuing it. I'd have to technically stop right there because I went past 0. And same thing over here, I would have to erase this until right there and stop there. I'd have to stop at those 2 points because the graph said only show it between 0 and 2 pi. Which can be really confusing. So for the most part, I'll often ask you to say graph at least one period. You can put arrowheads on or not. If you stopped, you would still get it right because you did at least one period, so you have less chances for mistakes. But be careful. In the textbook, sometimes they'll do this. Sometimes I'll just say, hey, ignore that. Just do at least one period. Because sometimes it can get really annoying to do it exactly between 0 and 2 pi. And we'll see some of those examples. Okay, so I'd like you to circle 3E and F.